You chose absolutely right tuning in to Rwanda Television News. Many thanks for joining us tonight on our edition, and I will start off with what makes our top stories tonight. On Thursday, the National Electoral Commission released the provisional list of the presidential and parliamentary elections as scheduled for July 2024.
The World Bank's regional vice president for Eastern and Southern Africa highlighted Rwanda's potential for rapid development despite being a landlocked country.
A very great evening to you once again, and thank you for joining us on Rwanda Television News tonight. My name, as always, is Sam Kalisa.
And my Martina Abera.
How are you doing, Martina?
I'm very good. How are you doing?
Very, very great.
Yes.
Yes, and as we started off tonight, on Thursday, the National Electoral Commission released the provisional list for the presidential and parliamentary election candidates scheduled for July 2024. The chairperson of the National Electoral Commission, Odaga Sinzirwa, announced that out of 9 individuals who sought candidacy for the position of the head of state, only 3 met the requirements. We do have the details.
Kuwakane tariki ya gatandatu z'ukwa gatandatu 2024 dutangaje kandidatire zemejwe.
Today on 6 June 2024, we announced the provisional list of presidential and parliamentary candidates for the upcoming presidential and parliamentary elections scheduled from 14th to 16th July 2024. The National Electoral Commission received 9 candidacies for the position of President of the Republic. After evaluation, the candidates who met the requirements are the following: Paul Kagame for the RPF Inkotanyi Party, Habineza Frank for the Democratic Green Party, and Maimana Philip, an independent candidate. The candidates who did not meet the requirements are the following: Manirareba Herman. He didn't provide a list of 600 people who are eligible to vote supporting his candidacy. Hakizimana Innocent. He didn't fulfill the requirement of 12 people who took their ID in the districts of Nyagatare and Gatsibo who are on the voting list in those districts. In Nyagatare, Gatsibo, Gisagara and Kirehe, there were found some invalid ID numbers, while other names were not the same as the ID numbers. On those who signed for him, some were repeated on the list he provided with different signatures, and there are others who were found on the list but never affirmed that they signed for him. Barafinda Sechikubo Fred, on the list he provided for those who have been supporting his candidacy, he didn't fill at least 12 people who took their IDs in various districts, as well as on the voting list of those districts which are Nyabihu, Musanze, Nyagatare, Kirehe, Gakenke, Rubavu, Burera, Rutsiro, Bugesera, Ngororero, Gatsibo and Kayonza. On those lists, there were some where we found the names only but without ID numbers. There are even cases where there are names with ID numbers but no signatures. Habimana Thomas, on the list he provided for those who will be supporting his candidacy, he didn't fill at least 12 people who took their IDs in various districts, as well as on the voting list of those districts, which are Nyaruguru, Nyamasheke, Bugesera, Kirehe, and Rwamagana. In the districts of Nyaruguru, Nyamasheke, Bugesera, Gisagara, Rwamagana, and Gatsibo, he provided invalid ID numbers and other IDs which are contrary to the people who are on the list, and there are others who were found on the list but never affirmed that they signed for him. Gwigarashi Madian, in place of the criminal record, she provided a copy of the trial. In place of the certificate of Rwanda citizenship, which is required by the Commission, she provided the birth certificate. On the list she provided for those who will be supporting her candidacy, she didn't fill at least 12 people who took their IDs in various districts, as well as on the voting list of those districts, which are Kamonyi, Gatsibo, Gasabo, Musanze, Nyagatare, Burera, Nyabihu, and Kayonza. On the list of her supporters in the districts of Huye and Gisagara, their IDs were found invalid, and it was found that some of the ID numbers are contrary to the names of people she wrote on the list of her supporters. Banda Jean, he didn't fill at least 12 people who took their IDs in 27 districts and on the voting list of those districts. He provided the list of his supporters in only 3 districts, which are Gasabo, Bugesera and Kicukiro.
yatanze ilisiti y'abamushyigikiye mu turere dutatu twonyine ari natwo Gasabo, Bugesera na Kicukiro.
Dr. Victoria Kwakwa, the World Bank's Regional Vice President for Eastern and Southern Africa, highlighted Rwanda's potential for rapid development despite being a landlocked country. She attributed this to the country's strong willingness and also the close cooperation with the private sector essential for achieving sustainable development goals. Dr. Kwakwa made these remarks during discussions with Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente on Thursday. Olive Nete has more on this report.
Discussions the Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente had with Dr. Victoria Kwakwa, the World Bank's Regional Vice President for Eastern and Southern Africa, focused on strengthening the ongoing cooperation between Rwanda and the World Bank Group. They also discussed accelerating progress in various sectors, including education, environment, and economic growth. Dr. Victoria Kwakwa noted that Rwanda shows great promise in achieving sustainable development goals due to its commitment to numerous projects aimed at sustainable development.
We touched on the energy sector because the World Bank has made access to energy a big priority for the institution as a whole. And the example of Rwanda and what you've achieved in barely 15 years, going from 6% access to over 65% access and use, actually over 70% access, but 65% use, is really important and something to learn from. We discussed together what additional could be done. The Prime Minister noted the importance of affordability and making sure that everybody that has access is able to afford it and use it as needed. And so the efforts His Excellency President Kagame wants to put to this and to review tariffs in a way that ensures that people don't just have the access and they can't use it because they can't buy it, but they can also afford it. Inform the Prime Minister that the World Bank has made access to energy in Africa, including Eastern and Southern Africa, universal access, the SDG 7, as a key priority for the World Bank as an institution. So that's something that we want to continue to support Rwanda. Rwanda, in our view, is a country that can achieve the universal access goal by 2030.
Dr. Victoria Kwakwa, the World Bank's Regional Vice President for Eastern and Southern Africa, also emphasized that the challenges faced by Rwanda and other African countries can be seen as opportunities to find solutions. She highlighted that Africa possesses abundant resources that can be leveraged for development.
Rwanda is a landlocked country, and landlocked countries are often disadvantaged, because the costs of production become much bigger. If you have to import everything, your imports have to go through other countries to get to you. By the time they get to you, they're super expensive. So how can you go from being landlocked to land-linked? The infrastructure connecting Rwanda to other countries, how can you facilitate some of your trade by air and so on? So this whole agenda of land-linked is also super important.
Richard Tusabe, the Minister of State in charge of the National Treasury, stated that discussions like this aim to explore ways to enhance cooperation in achieving the sustainable development of the country.
The discussions aimed at evaluating various projects in which we collaborate together with the World Bank, but also to see future endeavors together. We had the opportunity to discuss on how we can develop faster, but also which is sustainable and which reaches all people. The World Bank supports us in various projects in various sectors, the education sector, the energy sector, and also water, to name a few, but it also supports us to plan ahead for a sustainable development.
The World Bank is a good partner to Rwanda, providing support for various development projects. Currently, the World Bank is collaborating with Rwanda on initiatives in energy, environmental projects, agriculture, education, and more. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Thank you, Olive. As part of celebrating 20 years since the establishment of the Rwanda Association of Local Government Authorities, RALGA, those who worked or currently still working in the local authorities indicate that decentralization and capacity building policies made significant results in the country's development journey. Cedric Irakoze.
On Thursday marked its 20th anniversary. Those who worked in associate highlighted the journey of improving governance, especially fighting corruption, where leaders used to ask bribes for citizens to acquire the services they deserve, and other issues that hindered desired governance. The Rwanda Association of Local Governance Authorities also approved Dominic Habimana as new executive secretary, replacing Ladislas Ngendahimana, who recently resigned for that position. He vowed that RALGA will continue to play a role in helping the country to achieve its vision.
You have to be trained before starting any kind of job. That is why we know what we are going to do, most of us who have been elected. So trainings came before responsibilities. We shall continue to give good services in future coming years. Already Rwandans are in a way of development. Then whenever they find a problem in government services, it directly discourages them.
The participants of the General Assembly called for the increase of the local authority workforce, as well increase the resources allocated to those authorities in order to allow them to fulfill their duties. As you know, the country set the goals for the NST2 program, including becoming a middle income by 2035, as well as the Vision 2050. Districts will need to double their efforts so as achieve those targets. Our responsibility as RALGA is to help districts by listening to their challenges, making advocacy, and looking for resources needed in partnership with other authorities. The Minister of Local Government, Jean Damascene Musabyimana, noted that RALGA has achieved a lot but there is still room for improvement. We can talk about improvement in service delivery through defining roles from authority levels to local levels like the cell. We also recognize the request to increase the local workforce. We will discuss with RALGA to make sure such challenges are addressed. 92.8% of RALGA budget comes from contributions from the district and the city of Kigali, while 34.9% comes from development partners and other 7.8% from other sources. Cedric Irakoze, RTV News.
Thank you, Cedric, for that report. 1 month since the inauguration of the Busanza Automated Driving Test Center, more than 2,600 people have already taken the tests for permanent license. We have more on this report.
Provisional driver's license tests are undertaken daily at the Busanza Automated Driving Test Center. Those taking on exams say the new system makes the process easier. Here, you are only instructed by the system. The police officer just explains what you are supposed to do. You can't say you faced injustice or anything else because of the police officer. Today, I was taking on the D category driving test. I was alone doing what I learned. The Rwanda National Police say the center increased the number of people taking on exams. Before starting the test, candidates are first taken through the process. A police officer first explains the procedures of the test. After that, the candidates are taken through the testing area so they understand how it is designed. After that, they are given a chance to try the car to be used in an exam. All this is meant to facilitate them. At the beginning, the candidate has all the score 100%, as indicated on the screen. And as they do their tests, when they make a certain mistake, marks are deducted, and 80% is the minimum score. When they have the minimum score or more, The remaining is the test taken on the actual driving road. The Busanza Automated Driving Test Center started receiving license tests on 6th of May 2024. 2,621 have taken permanent driving tests, whereas 4,061 sat for provisional driver's license tests. 40% of those passed their tests. The Rwanda National Police indicates that those who take on license tests in the usual process succeed at the rate of between 25 and 30%. Moving ahead to other matters, as a part of the World Environment Day that takes place on the 5th of June every year, Indians living in Rwanda celebrated the World Environment Day 2024 with a focus on the theme, Our Land, Our Future. The event was marked by the plantation of fruit trees in the Gasabo district, symbolizing their commitment to environmental stewardship. Rwanda's proactive approach to environmental protection includes its pioneering ban on plastic bags and its ambitious goal to become a carbon neutral and climate resilient economy by 2050 was lauded as an important step in this endeavor. Dr. Surab Singhal, an Indian residing in Rwanda for 6 years and a professional in health industry, emphasized the importance of raising awareness about environmental challenges and taking action to protect our planet.
We had initiated a plantation drive, firstly in Gasabo district, and we are going to plant 500 fruits tree in this area, and we will finish this drive by end of this year. So our motto is that on this, we started this drive on the World Environmental Day, which is on 5th of June every year. And we want to involve all the peoples, local peoples also, and foreigners in this drive. See, currently climate change is a big challenge everywhere in the world. And of course, Rwanda was the first country who initiated the ban of plastic bags in the world. So Rwanda is already taking lot of steps towards the climate change, towards the environmental, and Rwandan government want to make sure that the healthy atmosphere is given to the people of Rwanda. See, currently we are into the dry season. It's not the right time to start this drive, but we initiated on the special day, which is World Environmental Day, and we will increase this drive, especially in the month of September when there is a rainy season. And we look forward the cooperation from the other people also in this drive, and this will benefit not only to us, it will benefit to our future, to our children's also in the near future. See, we are doing as Indians living in Rwanda, okay, but we are going to involve the local people also in this drive, because everything when we do together, it gives good results. And it's an initiative. It's just whether it is one tree, it's a small step we have taken.
Dr. Surab Singhal also emphasized the strong relations between Rwanda and India, highlighting how these ties foster development for residents of both countries. He noted that their collaboration and mutual support between the two countries enable shared progress and contribute to sustainable growth in various sectors of collaboration.
India vision is towards the developing nation by 2047, and in my opinion, India vision cannot be completed without the cooperation, without the hands in hands with African Union. So the relationship with being a new government, we just got a new government, third term of Mr. Narendra Modi, and he is very much looking forward for cooperation with African Union, and I think the trade will increase between India and Rwanda.
from this, we come to the end of tonight's edition. On behalf of the entire news production as well as the technical team that made it happen, many thanks for being with us. My name is Sam Kanisa.
And I'm Martina Vera.
And I will say up until next time.
Stay safe.
And have a great evening.